Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at an article from National Review. It was published on September 17th, written by John Loftus, Zoomers and the Constitution. Many in Generation Z think it's an outdated relic because they're fucking clueless idiots who've been force-fed Marxist bullshit by their fucking teachers. I mean, shit, when you have leftists indoctrinating kids, we're not going to say teaching, indoctrinating kids. This is what they learn. The Constitution doesn't mean shit. That it's outdated. They don't grasp it or understand it. They don't know what it's in it, but they think it's outdated. They don't understand it if they do know what's in it, because they don't know everything about it. They don't know anything about it. They don't know the history about it. They don't know what the founding fathers said about it, but they think it's outdated. They got no clue about it. In 2019, a study by Pew Research Center compared generational views on key social and political issues, focusing on similarities between millennials and Generation Z. Well, of course. The topics probed include race relations, diversity, climate change, capitalism, socialism, and role of government. So basically all leftist shit. So of course they're going to think the Constitution doesn't mean shit. It's outdated and we don't need it anymore. Because they're getting asked about everything fucking cultural, Marxist, and socialist, and globalist, like climate change is a Marxist takeover, okay? Capitalism, because they're taught taught things about socialism and Marxism. Oh, capitalism is bad. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. This last item, government, seems to be the go-to institution for Zoomers. Well, of course it is. Of course it is. According to the study, 7 in 10 Generation Z respondents believe that government should play a larger role in their futures. So basically, they want the government to act as their fucking parents. Because their parents coddled them and did everything for them, and they don't want to be adults. They don't want to have to do adulting. Instead of private enterprise and individual risk-taking, government bureaucracy. Excuse me. Sorry, I need to take a drink. Oh, much better. Instead of private enterprise and individual risk-taking, government bureaucracy will make the 21st century safe for democracy and solve the problems Zoomers find most alarming: social justice and climate change. Oh, yeah, the government's going to solve fucking climate change and social justice. That'll work out real fucking well. Uh-huh. On this Constitution Day, I wonder how our founding documents' longevity and its place in American culture will hold up in this century. As millennials and Zoomers climb the ranks of powerful institutions such as government, the courts, media, and academia, they will at last have the power to guide America and her relationship with the Constitution. Or you mean lack thereof, because they want to get rid of it. What will come of their misguided idealism? Will their revolutionary spirit peter out as adults bring on banal challenges such as mortgages, for example, or pay off student debt? Well, first off, none of them want to pay off fucking student debt. So that's kind of stupid right there. That's one reason why they want the government to do this shit, because they want free shit. They want their college educations that they chose to take, the courses for, that got them useless fucking degrees, to be paid for by the government. Come on now. They ain't going to be paying student debt. Or will the energy we saw on full display this summer burn through our institutions like a California wildfire? I'm thinking it's going to burn through more like a California wildfire. See, we need to start bitch slapping these little fuckers. I mean, not literally, but you know what I mean. Or if their parents fucking smacked them, maybe they'd have some sense knocked into them at this point. But now they're all fucking retarded. All right? They think government's going to save them. They think government's going to be, doing good things for them. They don't understand the fact that you give the government more authority, it becomes more oppressive. They don't get that because they're fucking stupid. They've been taught la la land bullshit, okay? Or indoctrinated into la la land bullshit, to be more precise, by the teachers in public schools. Come on now. Older generations must be every bit as curious as they are fearful when they ask themselves, what does the Constitution actually mean to some normal Zoomers, the ones who aren't rioting or protesting in the streets? The silent majority of Zoomers who do not participate in the unrest, but who no less believe in the fundamental assumptions of, say, Black Lives Matter, and will acquiesce to the organization's radical demands, Well, their answer may shock readers or could come to no surprise. One Zoomer understands the Constitution as a compilation of ideas that were a tad hypocritical for the time, considering a portion of the population was enslaved. Wow! It's a compilation of ideas. No, it is the doctrine that limits government in our lives, you stupid shit. Group of ideas. What a fucking idiot. And what's funny is he's basically confusing the Constitution with the Declaration of Independence here. That's pretty clear. Come on, buddy. You don't even know which document you're talking about. He continues, although it may have helped build this nation, we have to stop looking at it at out-of-date documents in a world that is completely different from a few hundred years ago. Oh, so what you're saying is free speech is bad, the right of preservation and defense is bad. Oh, let's see, making sure that your house that the police can't just come into your house and do illegal searches and seizures and shit like that. All those things are bad things, asshole, because those are things that the Constitution says the government can't do. Fucking idiot. If he was my kid, he might have had there might have been an accidental drowning, if you catch my drift. Fucking idiot. Wow. If he was my kid, I'd disown him for this stupid shit probably. I'd be like, dude, you're a fucking retard. I didn't raise a retard. When you get a clue, call me. I mean, I hate to say that, but this shipwreck that said this needs a reality check. Oh, out-of-date documents role is completely different. It's assholes. Another Zoomer, who's a PhD candidate, is quite harsh and no less confident in his assertion. Blind adherence to any document is groupthink and deprives individuals of their ability to reason for themselves. What? So, wait a minute. This asshole is saying blind adherence? You're not blindly adhering to the Constitution. At least people who have a fucking clue. Maybe you don't have a clue, so you look at it as blind adherence. But everyone else in the real world, you fucking reject. We look at the Constitution and we understand why the Founding Fathers created it. The whole point behind the amendments that they penned. Okay, and we look at them and we respect what they were doing and we understand it and we realize that, oh shit, this is something we need even more so today, because you've got people like you who clearly, I'm sure, would want to censor people and because of my hate speech, even though hate speech is a fucking fallacy created by the Soviet Union. I'm sure you back these Black Lives Matter and Antifa shitbags rioting and looting and all that, and you don't want people to be able to defend themselves. Oh, fuck no. I mean, hell, when you've got the police department standing down with this shit, and you're saying, well, the police will protect you. No, they won't. I'm sure this idiot was like, well, the police will protect people. And this is the same asshole I'm also sure that wants to defund the police. When they're saying stupid shit like this, yeah, I'm thinking so. Oh, God. And this idea of blind adherence. This is an idiot who follows the left's fucking bullshit. That's blind adherence, which our author here of this article basically calls him out on. He did fail to mention that blind adherence to social movements such as Black Lives Matter could be equally, if not more, detrimental to critical thinking. Equally, if not more. Excuse me. He's saying people are blindly following and adhering to the Constitution, which most people don't, because they actually understand it, except for these Zoomers and millennials that are fucking clueless idiots that have been, brainwashed into believing bullshit and lies about the Constitution and about the Founding Fathers. Okay. They're blindly adhering to leftist fucking shit, and it's destroying this country. And you should be calling that out. I'm not saying, well, be equally, if not more. Because it's clearly more detrimental to critical thinking. You should be calling that shit out. But the Constitution, he believes, is much worse. A recent college graduate praises the liberty granted and protected by the Constitution, but she still describes the document as outdated. That might be the key reoccurring theme in my generation. The idea that the document is outdated. Too many Zoomers, it seems. The Constitution is almost like a hokey piece of advice from a parent or grandparent that one ought to diligently heed, but won't anyway. The founding document is fast becoming a snag on the solutions for 21st century dilemmas, and therefore it must be outright rejected, consequences be damned. No. That's not what should happen. See, the Constitution stops them from having their little socialist, Marxist fucking utopia. That's why they want to get rid of it. They don't realize that when it comes to their little socialist Marxist utopia, a lot of them would probably end up on the wall first. Just saying. Now, I ain't saying they're getting lined up for a fucking photo shoot either. There's going to be shooting involved, but it's not going to be pictures. One Zoomer who works as a quantitative analyst at a hedge fund asks, how can something written so long ago in such a different time adequately solve our modern issues? His sentiment is wicked mix of technocratic hubris and Panglossian optimism. Well, simple. The founding fathers wrote a document that was so well written, it applies today over 200 years later. It just stops your little Marxist fucking leftist fucking bullshit and censoring people and all that other shit, and you don't like that. These people are fucking idiots. But there is hope still yet. There is still hope yet for concerned readers. The Constitution is the second most important document for our country after the Bible. Actually, no. Sorry. Constitution first, Bible second. At least that's the way I see it. Personal choice. I think the Constitution is first, Bible. Not necessarily a play there, but whatever. But anyway, document for our country after the Bible. A college student says. She concludes, they both give life and freedom to the people. Actually, religion has been more used along the lines to control people, but okay. The Bible especially, but let's just ignore that, okay? Because if you look at what happened with the Catholic Church and the monarchs of and royalty of Europe, like the monarchs and nobles of Europe, they used religion and the Bible to control people. It was written in Latin, so the average person couldn't read it. They outlawed reading and writing. So, I mean, it gives people a good religious center. It gives them a moral code. But I don't say it's it comes first here. The Constitution trumps it all. I'm sorry. In this country, with this government, we are, we don't have a national religion. We're not a religious-based republic. We are a constitutional republic. Sorry, but hey, whatever. Then again, maybe not. As an inspiring orthopedic surgeon says jokingly, I want the Constitution to burn. It's not a very funny joke for sometimes the truth... Jokingly, I want the Constitution to burn. It's not a very funny joke, for sometimes the truth is said through jest. Yeah, well, if it wants the Constitution burn, okay, let's see you try it. Go down to Washington, D.C. and try to light that shit on fire and watch what happens to you, asshole. Oh, I mean, these are the idiots that are coming up in the ranks, we'll say. They're anti-Constitution. This is not good. They don't understand the Constitution. What they understand of it was indoctrinated propagandistic bullshit fed to them by spoon by freaking lefty fucking teachers who don't like the Constitution. So of course they think it's out of date. I mean, hell, when I was in fucking school, and I'm 45, it was like my sophomore year, so we'll say 30 years ago maybe? It was like my sophomore year. I ended up dropping the class because there was no way me and the teacher were going to fucking get along after this shit. And I've talked about this story before. The teacher, okay, her and the union steward, who happened to be the assistant principal at the school, which is kind of contradictory because you've got the boss being the union steward. But anyway, the head of the department, who was my mentor, did not allow this book to be taught because it was revisionist fucking bullshit. Okay, it was an NEA, which is a teachers union, mind you, approved textbook that they were basically telling all their members, they have to teach this book. He's like, fuck you, I'm not doing it. So the teacher and the assistant principal conspired and snuck it in. And they literally said in the book, okay, history book, mind you, that the founding fathers did not have a grasp on the English language. They tried to imply that a lot of them were fucking illiterate and they didn't know how to properly punctuate with the Second Amendment, and tried to say that it never intended for people. This was fucking 30 years ago they pulled this shit. Okay, that it never intended for the average person to be armed. And I questioned it. Okay. I was like, excuse me. Really? Well, all the founding fathers, I said this to her, pretty much all the founding fathers to this teacher were educated men. Yet the book wants to try to claim they were illiterate and didn't understand proper English grammar? Really? I mean, you can go and look at their papers. And I said this, their papers, the books that they've written, other documents that they've written, letters, whatever. And you can see that they're clearly articulate, intelligent men with a grasp of the English language and punctuation. So how can the book say this? I said, besides that, all right, I said, the founding fathers in those same documents, papers, etc., made it clear that the intent of the Second Amendment was for the average person to be armed. Why? Because they just fought an oppressive government and they didn't want this government to become oppressive. And the way to stop that is by the people being armed. So I get all the kids in the class by bringing up these points and others. All right. She's trying to shut me down. And I got all the students starting to back me now. Okay. They're like, yeah, he's making sense. And because I was doing that, I got sent to the office. Her and the assistant principal tried to suspend me until the head of the department found out what they were up to. And he put a stop to it. But that was happening 30 years ago. What do you think they're teaching now? Think about that. Food for thought. If they were trying to fucking dumb shit down and say, oh, the founding fathers were illiterate idiots 30 years ago. You can only imagine how they're demonizing them now. I mean, they're being all racist, treating them like, oh, they were all racist, they were all misogynist, they were all this, that, and the other thing. Yeah, whatever. But this is some ridiculous shit. I saw this and I was like, yeah, I got to cover this because these idiots actually want to get rid of the Constitution. Because they're morons. This is our future, people, unless we rein shit back in. And the 1776 Project is a way to counter this shit. And that's what scares the left. That's what scares the Democrats. Because they know that will counter it. And they're trying to portray it as, communist era, like communist style, like indoctrination and shit. To actually teach students that the founding fathers, yes, they had their flaws, but they generally tried to be good and decent men. I mean, hell, a lot of them, most of them, freed all their slaves upon their deaths. And a lot of reasons why they did that is because the states they lived in, they could not free their slaves while they were alive. But the states could not stop them in death, in their wills, freeing them. They tried. They made a better nation than any other country in this world. Yet they're the root of all fucking evil now. At least that's what's being taught. It's ridiculous. It's got to stop. 1619 Project. Okay, New York Times bullshit. Everyone, oh, they're all evil. But that isn't communist, propagandistic indoctrination, according to the left. It's when that shit gets countered, it's supposedly, what's countering it, or will be countering it, is that. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I've covered this well enough. I'm leaving things here.
If you liked this video, depending on where you are watching it, please give it an upvote or thumbs up. If you want to know when new content of mine hits the internet, don't forget to subscribe to one or more of my social media or video accounts listed here. Also, with YouTube, don't forget to ring that bell. You can find all of my video content on both BitChute and YouTube. This may not be the case with other places I upload to, but I will try to minimize this happening. You are always welcome to interact with me at any of these sites on the list, so feel free to do so. If you have anything you want me to cover in a video, when it comes to news or current events, send it right along to me. I will try to do my best to cover it. As always, thank you for watching.